National Grid at pains to tell us that there is no risk of a blackout, but they wouldn't be putting this in place for the first time ever if they weren't serious concerns about supplies, would they?
Well, good morning, Eamon, as well. Yeah, it's a very unusual in year 2023 that we're having these kind of situations. It's just one thing after the other. I mean, to switch your heating off when it's -1 at the moment, it's beyond kind of a joke, really. And it worries me that it's okay doing these things, but what about the poor people who have got no heating in the first place, as we knew when we've been covering this in the last, particularly the last year, the situations that people are in. I mean, like Eamon just said, then, the savings that it's going to amount to doesn't seem really worth the amount of work that's involved. Our people are just going to do it. Can't see it. I can't see myself doing it, to be honest, and I can't see many other people doing it. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Is it just another gimmick to keep people happy?
Well, I agree with you. It's got gimmick stamped all over it. And I'm thinking, what do they do when a paltry £1 million runs out around the country? Because it won't take too long for that to happen.
No, and it's amazing, isn't it, how they spend the money. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I think the first thing they need to do is really get a grip of what's happening. And now, we covered this, as you remember. Unfortunately, Eamon was off and hope he's well now. We covered this a couple of months ago at GBNews, and we had a huge response with people who were very worried about, just about, again, the credit. You remember we covered it, and that was quite frightening, the amount of people who phoned in who are struggling just to even get the credit facility and voucher to work. So, yeah, the blackout scheme seems just another gimmick. I can't see it happening. I can't say how it's going to work. And it's just another government way of just kind of rolling through situations without actually tackling the issue, what needs tackling and what people and consumers are waiting for.
I want to ask you about these prepayment meters. We heard over the weekend that Grant Shapps really wants to clamp down on them. Most people will agree absolutely the right thing to do, given that these people who are having their homes forcibly entered and having these prepayment meters put in, often the people who can least afford a prepayment meter. And yet we're also hearing today that the energy firms are fighting back, saying that without them, unpaid debts will actually build up. Who's right here, the Business Secretary or the prepayment meters?
I think it's a major issue. I think everybody's just talking the talk, as we see every year when these things happen. Everybody wants to keep everybody happy. But let's be very clear here. We're sitting in a situation where we're hitting a very freezing time, as we know, with weather, and the most vulnerable need heating. In this day and age, people should be able to turn on the heating. We always talk about, last week a bill's gone up ridiculously.
Richard, there's nothing stopping them turning on their heating. They can turn off their TV, they can turn off their kettle, they can turn off their tumble dryer. They have other options with this one. I'm just scratching my head with this. So how can they actually tell? Would they look at my usage and say, Eamon Holmes is down 5% there, so we're going to send him 30 quid for reducing his electricity? How would that actually work? How can they actually monitor this? And as I say, the amount involved here, £1 million, it's just laughable.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we have the smart meters, don't we? I mean, bless us, we look at it and we kind of look at it with confusion what it's actually doing. And I think that's what they'll do, Eamon. They'll be looking at that, but I have no idea. I'm like you, it's always nice to ask these people when they say they're going to do these schemes, actually explain how the scheme works.